Hello my lovely bookish friends and welcome back to another video. Can you believe it's June already? Honestly, it feels like May just kind of came and went. However, I did read some really good books last month, so let us get to what I read.
First up, we have Cinder by Marissa Meyer. This is the first book in the Lunar Chronicles, in which each book in this 4-part series is a different futuristic cyberpunk YA fairy tale retelling. This one is Cinderella, in which the main girl in this book, Cinder, who is a cyborg, is essentially the story's catalyst that connects the other novels all together. This is a very basic plot synopsis. I knew this book was pretty popular, but I've never read it before, and I was pleasantly surprised by it. I literally picked up this damaged copy ages ago for like £1, and it's been on my shelf for years, and then I just kept seeing it pop up on Bookstagram, so I thought I'd give it a go, and yeah, I really got into it, and I totally plan to read the rest of the series. It's fast paced, it's good fun, and you know what, it would make a really great anime series. That would be so cool. The next book was a reread, and it is Magic by Aggie Sage. This is a middle grade fantasy, and it's set in this world where there is this powerful necromancer who plans to seize all things magical. He has killed the queen and sets out to release these dark creatures into the world, but the necromancer makes one mistake. He overlooks this vital detail that could stop him and get rid of him, which is this boy. However, the problem is this boy doesn't know that he's got the power to deal with the necromancer and stuff, and the story just kind of goes off from there. I absolutely loved this series as a child, and I read it a lot more than I did Harry Potter. It's just so much fun, and I'm currently listening to it as an audiobook, and it just puts me in a really good mood when I listen to it. It's magical, fun, and just a good time, and so if you want something that's just easy fantasy, this is a great series to check out. Next up, I read Stardust by Neil Gaiman, and for this one I am just going to read the blurb. At the dawn of the Victorian era, life moves leisurely in the sleepy village of Wall. Young Tristan Vaughan has lost his heart to the beautiful Victoria Forrester, and to win her love he vows to bring her a star that they see fall from the night sky. It is an oath that sends him over the town's mysterious ancient wall and into the land of Fairy, a world that is dangerous and strange beyond imagining. I thoroughly enjoyed this book. It was so much fun, and Neil Gaiman has such an excellent writing style. This, even though it's a short book, this had some really great world building, and he develops a storyline in a really enjoyable way. I also love the film version of this book, which is different, but still just whimsical good fun. The next book I binged in a few hours, and it was Legends and Lattes. It follows Viv, who is an orc, as she hangs up her sword and sets out to bring her dream of opening a coffee shop to life. This book is very popular, and I was seeing it everywhere, so when it was on sale on Kindle I just got it, and I'm so glad that I did. It's so cozy and sweet, and it has a really slow plot with low stakes, but it's a wonderful book just to spend a Saturday afternoon reading. It's just incredibly wholesome, so if you're thinking of giving it a read, I would recommend it. The next book that I read, and actually I read the first book and the second book, and they were my favourites for the month of May, and it was the first 2 books in the Lockwood Co series. This follows a group of teenagers as they fight against an epidemic of ghosts. That is a very basic synopsis, but I don't want to ruin it for you. This book is also a Netflix show, which I absolutely adored, and it was actually the reason why I picked up the books in the first place. I watched that first. It is so much fun, and well, actually I am doing a reading vlog for this whole series, so I will fangirl over it there and just say that I highly recommend this book. Please go check it out, and also the Netflix series. Between reading the first and second Lockwood books, I also read Sisters of Midnight, which is the final book in the Sisters of Shadow trilogy. This series follows a pair of friends, Alice and Lily. When Alice goes missing, Lily sets off to find her, and the whole trilogy starts off from there. This is a series that I have mixed feelings for. As just pure fantasy escapism, it does its job. However, throughout the whole series, the character of Alice just annoyed me. She does some questionable things, and everyone just kind of forgives her for it. I was only really reading for Lily and also for Jem, who are like my faves, who did not get enough screen time, as it were. But just to be clear, it's not like a bad trilogy by any means, and if you want just some easy fantasy, then this is definitely the book that would hit the spot. Lastly, I read When Women Were Dragons. This is a feminist novel that is set in the 1950s where women are just starting to turn into dragons and, taking back their power. I didn't love this book, but I did find it enjoyable to read and it was really engaging. The one thing I always find about this type of book is that the readers who read it are mainly women, but we're not necessarily the people who need to read it, if that makes sense. I would be interested to know what guys who have read this book thought about it, as it manages to be very, very blunt and very clear about its message. I just personally wanted more dragons.
So that was it. That was all the books that I read in May. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy with the amount that I got to read last month. I've definitely got more back into reading as I've been in a bit of a, not quite a slump because I was reading, but there was definitely more gaps between picking books up and I was reading slower than usual. However, this month I feel like I've got back up into it and back into reading again. However, I have fallen behind on that TBR list that I said at the start of the year, and there's just 12 books on that list of ones that I own that I wanted to get read, and I was like, 12 books, that's great, one each month, I can do this. I have fallen behind on that TBR list, so I need to next month start cracking on with that a little bit more and making sure that I do pick up books off that list. It's just so hard because I'm so easily distracted because there's so many good books and series that I've now got into, like Lockwood Co, and I want to read more of the Lunar Chronicles, but I do need to try and buckle down and read a few more books off that TBR list next month. What did you read in May? What were your favourite books that you read? Do let me know in the comments below so that I can maybe add a few more books to my TBR list. Not that I need to, but we all like having a nice long list. And so that brings us to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and if you did, please consider liking and subscribing as I have a lot more bookish content to come. So until next time, my lovely bookish friends, bye!